What's happening, troops? Welcome back to another episode of the Nay First Touch podcast. Today, joined by the regular host, Jack and Kirsten. Go to you first, Kirsten. How's everything going?
Aye, apart from the football, everything's great.
That's becoming like a catchphrase now.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be the same thing all season, probably. I've got my orange jumper on again, so I know the comments will be going mental. It's just really comfy, right? But yeah, not bad. Going into Tier 3 on Friday. Pretty happy about that. Not going to be stuck in my house, really. So, yeah, good.
I've actually got that written down. I don't know why I would have that written down to talk about, but today we found out we're getting back into Tier 3. Jack, you buzzing about that, mate? Or are you
not? Mate. I went to work. I'm doing 1 day a week, and I went today, and she just been able to go on a bus. It felt pretty good.
Traffic, but that you don't miss that, do you?
Mate, I don't mind, mate. I just put some tunes on, just let the world take me.
What's your sort of tunage? What are we going for? But like, what are you going to listen
to? Well, on the bus on the way here today, it was about Foo Fighters.
Oh, good shout.
Can you give us a wee rendition of one of their tunes?
No, you're alright.
Need to be prepared.
I mean, one of their songs is like the national COVID song, Times Like These, or all the charity ones singing it.
Oh, nice. Let's see your finger as well, Jack.
Tattoo, mate.
Lovely.
Aye, that's it, mate.
What have you done? What have you done to yourself?
So, my boss chucked me some keys, and I went to catch it, and one of them was like right in my finger, and it wasn't the nicest feeling.
That's a nightmare, mate. Absolute nightmare. Get well soon.
It was like five minutes before I left, I know.
Oh, absolute nightmare. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about today. A hell of a lot to talk about. We've got Scotland draw. Scotland draw drawn into for the World Cup. It was quite promising. We've obviously got the SPFL games for the weekend as well as some of the Europa League that's coming up this week. So quite a lot to get into. But I thought we would start firstly with just getting your opinions before we get right into the meaty stuff about the Scotland draw. We're drawn with Denmark, Austria, Israel, Faroe Islands and Moldova. Now, very happy with that draw. Out with Israel, because I am sick of the absolute sight of these bastards. Honestly. Can we just have one match day without them? Seriously, man. It's getting beyond a joke now, isn't it?
Aye.
Aye.
Wherever we go, they need to go sort of thing, man. It's like constant. It's like that wee annoying wee brother, innit? Like, you can't leave the house or do anything without them just tagging along with your mum going, oh, can you take them and all? It's just like, going to go away, basically. But no, see, to be honest, it's a winnable group. I don't see how we can't qualify. Definitely beatable. And considering like some of the teams we were playing, I would say they're arguably harder, the teams we played to get into the Euros. So definitely think we can do it.
How do you think we'll fare, Jack? I mean, look at it. Denmark is pot 1 team, Austria pot 2. Couldn't have got any better, mate. Could have.
It's a cracking draw for in terms of what we could have got, but to follow what Kirsty's saying, in which she said she can't see how no, I can, because we're Scotland. We're terrible when it comes to this is textbook Scotland. We get a cracking group with some teams that we should be beating, and we'll still fuck it. I mean, I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to support the country, obviously, but I'm nowhere near getting my hopes up.
I mean, you look at it, Moldova and Faroe Islands, that's got to be 6 points in both of the games versus them. So
definitely,
you're giving yourself a good chance. But for me, I think the rest of the nations will get 6 points against them because they ain't strong at all. Which then comes down to can we go through the levels and can we beat Israel? If we can beat Israel home and away, which we've struggled with, even though we played them in the Nations League and we end up getting through to the final off the back of them. They also beat us in the last game of the Nations League. So they've been, although we've maybe came out the better in most of the games, they've always been a nuisance, haven't they? They have always been that wee bastard that's biting at your ankles. And then Austria and Denmark are obviously the top sides in the group. I agree with you, Jack, in the aspect it is a good draw for us, but they still do have top players. Austria, get your David Alabas and stuff, and Denmark. Who have they got?
Ericsson. Well, they've got Ericsson.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not going to be an easy group, but I'd have butt the hand off of anybody for that group getting into it, by the way.
100%.
So let's get into the SPFL. And I think we should go straight to talking about what happened at Celtic Park, Kirsten. Can you break the game down for us without absolutely slating Celtic first? Just tell us how the game unfolded, really, how it went.
Right, so to be fair, I watched the game. This is the problem, was right. There was a lot of promising points in that game. A lot of good play from us. See, the final ball is what we're lacking, and the lack of communication as well. These are the sort of shots, see if we gave them to Rangers this season, they'd have put them away, no bother. And that's our issue. There's no communication. There was a point as well where Frimpong and Edward were kind of looking at each other really confused. But to be fair, the first 10-15 minutes, we had all the chances. Give credit to St Johnstone, obviously coming in. They've been unbeaten in, how many games
10.
is that they've been unbeaten? 10 games.
It's now 11 now.
Well, 11 now, aye. And they came in and they absolutely went for it. Usually they'd come in, they'd just put 10 men behind ball, but no, they absolutely went for it. They had a good few shots, a good few chances that I'm shocked, to be honest, they didn't go in, apart from obviously the goal towards the end. But to be fair, it was an even playing field. If you were watching, not knowing who both these teams are, you would never have thought one was Celtic and one was St Johnstone, basically. You'd have thought they were quite even. I mean, the way we've been playing this season, they are quite even. But yeah, it's just quite frustrating watching. Loads of chances that should have been goals, and if it was last season, they would have been goals, but just lack of communication and just lack of drive, really, from the team, which is kind of letting us down.
Lack of conviction as well in the final third. I mean, you look at the chance that fell to Edward in the first half, where, although, see, in retrospect, looking back at it, it is a hard chance, but Edward last season made these sort of chances look easy.
He was putting them away.
Exactly.
He was putting them away last season.
Big chances like that, and then you're looking at the chance that I think fell to, was it Tom Rogic in the box?
Rogic had a header.
The header, aye.
Yeah.
But then on the other side as well, Celtic showed their vulnerabilities in defence. There was a cross that came in the box for a set piece for David Witherspoon that I think fell to Stevie May, who should have done better. And there was another break.
Beaton cleared it.
The left-hand side, yeah. There was another break down the left-hand side. So, as you said, it was definitely one of those ones where Celtic had a couple of chances, but St Johnstone showed, if yous don't punish us with the chances, we can certainly punish yous. And they get the first goal, Jack. It's another example of Celtic's vulnerabilities at the back. Although St Johnstone cut them open quite nicely, they were all over the place of shape, wasn't it? It was too easy to break them down.
Oh, I'm watching it live. I was like, good goal, St Johnstone. See, watching it back, you see just how unorganised it was. I feel like when I watched the game, because I remember watching it the first 10 minutes, and I said to my roommate, I was like, you'll be fine, you're playing quite well this game, you look like you're coming into a game here. And then the whole game, it just looked like, see if you look on the betting, like Bet365, and it shows you like Celtic attack, this possession, the whole game was Celtic dangerous attack, St Johnstone possession, Celtic dangerous, and it just, you could tell a theme here, St Johnstone's defence were just being able to handle Celtic's attack. I mean, like you said, the Edward chance, I was going to pick that up as well. That's something he would finish no bother last season, and it does not like he's full of confidence either.
What's happened with these players there in front of goal, Kirsten? Because you're still getting some chances. Your Edwards, Rogic, and there was other chances in the second half that fell to Celtic before St Johnstone obviously break the deadlock. What is happening in that final third? Is that coming down to the players? Is that the management? Is it just confidence? What's going on?
I think it's a mixture of everything. I think it's a lack of confidence because we haven't been playing well, and then you reflect not playing well. We've changed. We don't even have like a tactics really, and that's kind of down to a managerial fault. Like there's no game plan. You know, you kind of need a game plan going into a season. We've had nothing, and I think obviously the change. This is more for the defence point, but see, having that change constantly and not having the same people around you, it kind of can knock you. You kind of lose, you know, what maybe Laxalt's good at, Greg Taylor won't be good at, which obviously going forward you've seen that. So it's like a lot of differences in different positions. So obviously the constant change, there's no tactics, there's no game plan, and that's going to knock everybody's confidence. And because they're probably seeing what's happening on the other side of Glasgow, it's going to add pressure as well. So I think it's just a mixture of everything, to be honest with you, just added up. And see, because it's obviously coming out as well, you know, every couple of days, like we back Neil Lennon and stuff, it's like, well, is something going to change? Is something going to happen? Because nothing really looks as if it's going to happen. It's just the the same old. To be fair, we did see David Turnbull coming in, and a comment that annoyed me was he's not fit.
Oh man,
That's
sure
what
we'll
got said about him.
For sure.
So, but yeah, it was good to see him at least get a chance after a while. I know he had COVID and stuff, but he's just been sitting on the bench doing nothing.
So Kane gets a goal. It's a good move for St Johnstone, but in retrospect, Celtic could definitely defend better. El Yunusi comes on, lobbing header into the back of the net. But now, after it finishing 1-1, that's 2 wins in 12 for Celtic. And I think it was yesterday the Celtic board put out the statement backing Neil Lennon further. In the post-match interview, as you just touched on, he said players weren't fit, and he pointed the finger towards Lee Griffiths and David Turnbull. So you kind of spoke about your frustrations in regards to that a wee second ago, but could you elaborate a wee bit on that? Because I thought it's a wee bit harsh going towards David Turnbull, considering he was fit enough to play for Motherwell. You signed him, you sat him on the bench for 3 months. I mean, what do you expect?
It's just downright pointing the finger. You can't sit and say, oh, we've drawn, we're not doing well because he's not fit. It's not down to him. He's not been playing. He's just came on. Granted, he did have COVID and such, and obviously he couldn't play. That's not his fault. Even I don't know if you've seen that documentary. It was like an hour long or something about his recovery from getting injured and obviously having that medical and stuff. And see right off the bat, see even a couple of games he played for Motherwell before he signed for us, I was like, he's going for it. And I've never, when I'm watching him, whether he was playing for Motherwell or Celtic, I've always been like, he's going places. So to come out and say that is pretty cheeky, and I think it's just pointing the finger, to be honest with you, because how can you blame someone that you just sit on the bench who doesn't really play because you don't pick him to say, oh, they're not fit? What's he been doing? Do you know what I mean? Apart from obviously being
what has he been
COVID,
doing?
What's he been doing?
Do you know what I mean?
Because I've seen the pictures that you have been posting, Celtic, about him training. So, it's not, you can't just sit
something
and say
doesn't quite add up here, Neil, all right? You're talking shite, or that's Photoshop. I don't know.
Exactly.
Jack, we went through a period last season with Steven Gerrard where we had some difficult results, nowhere near to the extent that this was. We've managed to turn the corner. Do you think that Celtic can turn the corner under Neil Lennon, or do you think it's finished for him and they need to replace him?
It's just a straight up roundabout, mate. We're not turning any corners, man. We're just spinning a bit.
I think it's borderline lunacy to think that Neil Lennon can turn this around. I think every Celtic fan knows now that he is not the right man for that job, I think. But in the same breath, the only thing I can think, this is literally the only thing I can think, that Neil Lennon's starting that job. Who would want that? Name a manager that would want that job right now. It's absolute suicide to come in. The only manager I can think that can take that is somebody that's just, they're at their wits' end and they need something. There's a chance they could do something, they might get an impact, but no manager with any level of clout or respect is going to risk ruining this, because obviously on one hand you could kind of say Celtic fans might be a wee bit more lenient if he doesn't win it because of the shit show that he's been put in front of him, but who's willing to risk? Eddie Howe's certainly not going to risk that.
No, I mean, Eddie Howe's the name that everybody's talking about, but let's not forget, this is a guy that relegated Bournemouth, and there's been top pros like your Jermaine Defoe's that have come out and been a wee bit questionable about this guy, so I don't think Eddie Howe's definitely the answer. Is Eddie Howe going to take the job as well, like you just said there, after what's happened? Possibly a month and a half ago, he might have took the job, but now it seems like there's an absolute civil war between the board, between the fans, there's division between the fans, it's an absolute shit show at the moment. Me personally, for outside looking in, I think that the board should have grew a set and they should have sacked Neil Lennon a long time ago, but they just seem to be so stubborn. And it just seems like it's got to beyond a point now where they are going to sack him. So it's not looking great. Kirsten, are you on you go, Jack?
A stat I heard on the radio: 7 players that played against St Johnstone, they won each, played 7-0 pumping last season, first game of the season. So they're clearly, it's no personnel in my opinion. There's something going wrong, and it's no the players. And
the thing about the players as well, you can't sack 25 players, but you can sack a manager. So even if it isn't entirely Neil Lennon's fault, something's got to give, and surely it's got to be his job. It doesn't look like it though. Let's move on to the Rangers game then. I've given my thoughts on it. It was Rangers 4, Ross County 0. Jack, would you be able to break the game down for us, mate?
I mean, beating Ross County isn't for everybody, but we done it. It was an absolute walk in the park. I think the first 25 minutes was a bit shaky. We didn't really look like we had our foot on the game as easy as we usually do. But see, as soon as we get our foot in the game, we don't take it off. I feel like Tavernier was absolutely unbelievable. I think his work in the first goal is next level. You see him tell Morelos to get to Davis, and he's already making that run, and he knows Davis is going to pick him out, and they're in behind, and he puts it through to Roof again had a cracking game. Second goal, the man himself, Tavernier, gets on the end of it. It's a bit lucky, a bit fortunate to fault him, but somebody's got to be there, don't you? Yep. He puts it in. Just from that point on, you just knew, even Ross County knew, it was game over, and the fact we got another two just shows how much we don't take our foot off the gas.
When you look at Ross County versus Celtic, I thought it was clear to me with how narrow they were. You need to try and get down the sides to break them down. And I was buzzing when Stephen Gerrard came out in the post-match and said that's somewhere we identified when we're able to draw a player like Alfredo Morelos out. A player's going to follow him and we're going to try and play that killer pass through to a James Tavernier. It's got to break into that channel and show some quality. And that's exactly what Rangers done. They had to be patient, but it paid off, and it was a really good move. I mean, it looks easy, but it certainly wasn't. The first pass for Stephen Davis is brilliant. The movement off the ball straight off the bat, and the intelligence, the game IQ for Alfredo Morelos to know if I hold on to this for another second and then play the pass off, Tav's going to be on his bike. He's going to be in there. You know what you're going to get for the guy once he's in that position, and then the movement to Roof to put it into the back of the net, and Rangers just didn't look back for him. Didn't they? They didn't. And then the second goal comes for that man, Tav. We've got to highlight him because the numbers that he's putting up are unbelievable. Yes, people call him a penalty merchant. People call him this. People call him that. But if you look at his goals in the league so far this season, I think I seen a tweet earlier, his goals out with penalties is more than Christie and Edwards so far this season. So that just goes to show you how good a season that guy is having. For outside looking in, Kirsten, James Tavernier, I mean, he's a player that you could be dealing with at the moment for sure. What's your opinions on him this season?
Mate, I think we need about 12 Taverniers at the moment. Like, seriously, man.
The manager as well, is that what it is? 11 on the park and then the manager?
Aye, go for it. Aye, definitely. And just we'll take him. But no, see the player he was last season, a couple of seasons ago, it's night and day. Like, the changing him, man, it's... I know a lot of you, it was split kind of this, like, opinions on him from Rangers fans. Some people loved him, some people didn't really see eye with him, but everybody just adores him. And you know what, fair play. See, if you have a right back that's pure producing them numbers, bombing it up and down that wing every single game.
The wing.
We finally get a song. And it's
I seen that or something on Twitter. I was like, right, so
my cousin
fair play.
Was it?
Nah, but see at the end of the day, man, see the amount of times he's even getting just in the box. Do you know what I mean? That's more times than probably Edward's been in that box this season. But no, he's definitely stepped up for you. He's definitely somebody, a captain that you need, and yous are all on the same wavelength this season. You can just tell that even with that play when he was telling obviously to pass to Davis would find him and such, and that's the difference. Our team's not in the same wavelength. Everyone's doing, like, playing as individuals, whereas yous all know what yous are doing. Yous are working as one, and it's just he's flying for yous.
My question to the both of you is then, firstly, I want to go to you, Kirsten. Can Rangers be caught? It's now 13 points, 2 games in hand. Celtic don't look like they're picking up anything. The only thing it looks like that could turn this around is a change in manager. It just doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. If you take the games away that obviously are in hand and Celtic do win them, it goes down to 7 points, I believe. So can they be caught?
They can be, but I don't think they will. They can. Like, at the end of the day, if you look at it, they can be caught. But I don't see... In order for it to realistically happen, Rangers would need to slip up slightly at some point. I don't see that happening. And I don't really see Celtic picking up right now. I don't. And as much as that annoys me to say it, I need to be honest, don't I?
In my video yesterday as well, I spoke about it. It seems like a lot of media outlets, a lot of radio stations, newspapers are saying the league's finished. They're saying it's done. But the one guy that's championing that it's not is Steven Gerrard. And I'm buzzing about that because what he's saying at the moment is gospel and Rangers fans are following with that. Obviously, you're going to get a few here and there that think that it's finished already. But most are going off what Gerrard's saying. It's one game at a time. Can't get ahead of ourselves. And the only way that we're going to really win is to have that mindset, isn't it, Jack? We can't get ahead of ourselves until that trophy's in Tav's hands. It isn't yours, is it?
Not at all. See the thing that I'm getting, I hear a lot of. See, like the outsiders, like you're down south, your media, they all think it's done. The bookies are calling it's done. Obviously, we're not going to think that because we're Rangers fans, and when you went through the last 10 years that we went through, you can't get ahead of yourself too much. So the sooner that Celtic start chasing us and stop chasing buses, that's when you'll realise that there's a chase on here.
Whisper him in the part. When's Jack funny?
Jack,
has he been writing these down in the bus?
Aye, I fucking love it. Yeah, by the way, as well, I never obviously added two and two together, but obviously they buses are their chairmans and all, aren't they, Jack? Douglas Park, mate. He owns Park Hamlin. So thanks Celtic for the investment. You know what I mean?
You're in a summary. Obviously, what Kirsten said is right. We can be caught, but I would be very surprised. I'm confident. I'm very confident we're going to do it. But we need to keep the heat. You can't get ahead of ourselves. We've been we've been known to fuck up in the second half of the season. We've done that twice in a row now. So once we get to that after that second goal from, if we win that, I'll be phoning open top bus companies try to get a booking.
The boogie bus, mate. That's what we need. We need an in boogie bus or something. Right. The next question I've got down here that I want to ask you, and I'll give my opinion on it first before I open the floor up. And it's what are Rangers doing at the moment that is so good? Like, what is it that they're doing that the other teams obviously just don't seem to have a look in? Every game that they're getting into, they're the favourites and they're winning games. Even the Standard Liège game, when they weren't at their best, still managed to come up trumps. And the one thing that I'm buzzing about more than anything at the moment, Jack and Kirsten, is the defence. See, when you don't concede goals, you don't get beat, do you? Especially when you've got an attack force like Rangers have got at the moment. So for me, that's the reason that we're not getting beat. That's the reason why we're not dropping points. That defence, it's solid at the moment, and it's no changing anytime soon.
My point on how I think I've got like two or three. One of them is defence, 100%. The defence has been unbelievable, considering that the defence has been something that we found quite shaky in recent seasons. So the fact that went from being quite shaky to the absolute spine of this team. Second point is, I touched on it with my roommate. The stamina our team has is unbelievable. We don't stop. If you look at like games over, it's like the 90th minute. The only player I think I've seen been a wee bit tired was Barisic in one game, and it was because he was up and doing that wing for 90 minutes straight, and that would tire anybody. So the fact that we don't look like we're tired against anybody, and teams like Ross County and St Johnstone, fitness is it's so high up. And my final one would probably be just how much our team gel together. We look like a team.
All season, I've not said anything bad, really. Although it annoys me, I'm just like, I can't fault that. I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't sit and fault a team that's cruising. Really, at the end of the day, they are. And I wasn't really going to say the defence, but now that you mentioned it, yeah, the defence is absolutely miles better than what you've had previously.
19 clean sheets, I believe, this season.
Aye, 3 goals conceded or something like that. But I was actually going to say the depth. And the fact that use gel, it's the game plan. You all know what you are doing within your role. So if you take one person out and put another person in, they know what they're doing. It's the fact that you have tactics, a game plan, and so much depth within your squad as well. Whereas we rely on the same players. Slag them players in that game, then play them again the next week. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's night and day. There is none. I said there is none. But yeah, no, it's night and day, and I think that's why you are doing so well.
Thanks.
See the more I think about it, mate. It's done, innit? It is done.
He's gone right out there, ain't you, Jackie boy? For sure.
I'll be getting replayed on Twitter if that fucks up.
Oh, look, poor Ryan, eh? He's a fucking walking talk meme.
You see YouTube winding him up?
Yes. Me and Kirsten were saying that off camera there. I bet there's somebody in the YouTube studios that has meant that, not sarcastically, but because absolutely everything that is happening in the moment, it looks like YouTube are rinsing.
I just
bucket of
absolutely
Dougie Ryan there.
rinsing him, man. He's getting it
Rinsing
from everybody,
him
man.
rotten, man. So they are. Have you seen that scene in Pulp Fiction? Ryan's that guy at the moment. Anyway, if anybody's seen Pulp Fiction, you'll know what I'm talking about.
They'll know what you're on about, yeah.
Jack, I believe you've got a wee quiz for us, my man. Do you want to get into it now, bro?
It's just a wee cheeky one that I was thinking about.
Wee cheeky one.
So
I love that.
I didn't forgot, but by the time I'd done it and I was on the bus home, I forgot that David might have a wee upper hand in this, and I'll tell you why.
Great.
So, both teams in our lifetimes have been to a European final.
Yes.
David was at it. That's your upper hand. Can you name the starting 11 that played on that day? Each of you. So, Kirsten, come on, a European final, you should know the team that played. Same for you.
So I can choose whatever one I want then? I'm going to obviously go for 2008 rather than 1972, but...
Yes. Yes. I mean, in your lifetime, I said.
Oh, did you say in a lifetime? Fuck, sorry. I'm 65, mate. Don't let the... I can't even say I can't even say the young looks to see you because I look about 35 to be honest with you. But, so in goals for Rangers, it'd been Neil Alexander.
1 point.
I can't even think right this
in 2003, wasn't it?
I'll give you a clue. It's not Stephen Naismith.
Aye, because I'm going to say that. Mate, I can't even think. Can I start from the other end?
Of course you can.
Okay, can I say Henrik Larsson, please?
1 point.
Thank you.
Goals, didn't he?
No.
Yes.
Right. It's a weird one for me because there's a player in here that was definitely in the squad in 2008, but did they start or no? I don't know, but for some reason or another, I believe that Kurt Broadfoot did start in the game.
Correct. 2 points.
Kurt Broadfoot, good. I wish he didn't start in the game, but he did. So.
Kirsten, doesn't need to be in positional order.
Right, okay, good. Stelian Petrov.
Correct. 2 points. Dev, back to you.
Davy Weir, that's a centre half.
Baldy.
Yep.
Big Baldy.
Big Baldy, yeah. Remember his song? Everybody used to say?
Yeah.
Beside Davy Weir, it would have been Carlos Cuellar.
Correct. 4 for 4 for Dev so far. Kirsten, don't slip up.
Malawi, maybe?
Yep.
What a shout. That's tremendous, by the way. That is tremendous. That's like a Kurt Broadfoot shout. But in my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah.
Celtic fans, that might be...
For you, I wouldn't have probably said Broadfoot, so...
No saying Malby was as bad as Broadfoot, but I just mean in terms of like...
Yeah.
Left back, another guy with a great song. Sasa Papac.
100%. 5 for 5.
Chris Sutton has to be there.
Yeah, he's there. We've done it. 5 for 5 for you as well.
Thank you.
You've secured the keeper and the whole defence.
I think I'll get the central midfielders as well because after I'll go with the two of them, Kevin Thompson and Barry Ferguson, because the reason I knew Tomo started, but the reason I remember Fergie is because he probably had one of their only shots in the game, and as he hit the shot, mate, fucking one of their defenders like blocks it with his chest, but because of where me and my dad were sitting, we all thought it was a handball, and my dad was halfway through a hot dog, and he's just launched it. Like this hot dog's just launched and landed in the 6-yarder. But it was only in retrospect we realised it wasn't a penalty. So
that is 7 for 7. Aye, so I need 2 after you, Kirsten, here.
Have I said Alan Thompson yet?
You haven't. You have now.
Is it there? Okay. Wait, Neil Lennon.
He did. Neil Lennon played.
Fucking
well
shite.
done. 7 for 7. Here you go, Div.
Stevie Davis, certainly. He played. Because he was a massive part in the run. And I'll just throw another one in for quickness. I think this guy started as well, Stevie Whittaker.
Correct. Whittaker played on the right-hand side.
There we go.
2 for you now, Kirsten.
sake. Was Douglas there?
Douglas was the keeper.
I'm
Hold
trying
on.
to think. Oh, thank fucking God. Have I said Alan Thompson?
You have.
Bastard.
You said if I said Alan Thompson when you said Alan Thompson.
Did I?
You did.
How many did I need to say?
You've got 2 left in the team to say, but you can say 1 more. I'm not gonna lie. I've not really heard of these 2.
Janino.
I don't know.
Right, Dev, I'm going to pass to you. Dev, if you can get both of these, you've done it.
Right, okay. So,
Look at him. He's proper.
I'm running through it, right?
He's doing better than me.
There's one that I believe is 100% there, and it's Jean-Claude Dutcheville.
100%.
Who scored a massive goal in the run as well versus Sporting Lisbon. You remember him done the salute, the original salute.
That was the best of it.
The final one. I'm thinking, like, in my mind, he played, but when I'm thinking about the shape and the personnel that I've already got in there, it's tough. But then Walter Smith played quite defensive, so I'm just going to go with my heart, and I'm going to say Brahim Hamdani.
Think he's done it?
I hope so.
I think he might have.
100% has done it.
Oh, you beauty!
100% record for Div on that one.
To be fair, I think I'll give us both that. That was actually quite good.
That was brilliant.
So
I'd probably only get Larson for Celtic, probably.
the two players, I don't know how to pronounce their names. Agathe. And Valgarin. Valgarin.
Valgarin, yes.
Oh, aye, Valgarin knew him well. Aye, great left foot on him, the boy.
Aye.
Brilliant in step and stuff like that.
Never backed it 50-50.
No, he's always if in doubt, kick it out. That was his slogan.
The OG. That was us. He said that. He started that.
That was
I would not have got them. But yeah.
Jack, that took me right down nostalgia lane there, man. I was back in the stadium. So I've told the story on here before about going to the game. No on this podcast, but I'll reiterate a wee bit. I've told it on the channel. My granda, who was born, I believe, in 1958, wasn't able to go to the cup final in Barcelona because it was like back in the days. It was obviously hard to travel. So his dad took his oldest son. So he always said, if Rangers get back to a major competition, I'm going to do everything in my power to obviously get whoever there. And fucking he gets 6 tickets, a grand a ticket, yeah. And me and my dad get 2 tickets together. But when we went to go into the bit, it was full of Zenit fans, full of Zenit. And it was in the Zenit end. It was the only way we could get the tickets. So when we went to go to the thing, they're like, you're no Zenit fans. So basically, fuck off. So we thought we weren't getting in. So we go to like the following turnstile where there's Rangers fans. They take us back to there. It's back and forth, mate. I end up bubbling because I'm a wee boy at the time. And thinking we're not getting in. And eventually a supervisor came, took us into where the seats were. We sat down and then on the screens it came up 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the teams walked out. And as soon as the teams walked out, there was like, we were in amongst Zenit fans. They all whipped their tops off, mate. And it was all Rangers fans. There was only about 1,000 Zenit fans in that full stadium. What a day, man! What a day! Even though we get beat, so
we got absolutely bossed, man.
Sad times. We did. What a team they were, man! What a team! But Arshavin, Timashuk, and all that brilliant team.
Did they absolutely pump Bayern Munich in the semi?
Aye, they did. They battered Bayern Munich. So they did. So it was always going to be a tough task. And then obviously Celtic was versus Porto, who went on to win the Champions League the following year, man. So
I was in Portugal when they won the Champions League, and I've got a funny story actually. So it was Dado Pozzo's last game for Monaco in that game before he came to us, and so my cousin was supporting Monaco, and my cousin is like, he likes England and he supports England when they're playing and stuff. So he had an England flag painted on his face that day, and I was like, just pure being that rebel Scot, I was like, I'm going to Scotland flag, and you know the colours of the two of them, Monaco are red and white. And Porto are blue and white. So when Porto won it and the streets are filled of Porto fans going up on nut, they're all at me, yeah, I'm like, Harry.
Get it round you, Harry boy.
It's Harry that done wingy wing for your information.
Was it? What a hero, by the way. He's lived some life. What a rebel, man. Do you know we're going to get him on the show, man? See, once we get in the studio, we're going to get him on the idea at the start of the show. That'll be tremendous, mate. But should we fire into some of the games then for the SPFL?
Yep.
We had Hamilton 1, Kilmarnock 0. There was a red card for Kelly in the game, but there was a red card for them the previous week, and they managed to still beat Ross County 3-1, or the week before, or whatever it was. So they were it's not as if they couldn't play with 10 men, so credit's still got to be done here for Hamilton, who looked down and out, and still, in my opinion, are probably potentially going to go down. It's hard to look past them, but listen, if they can keep clean sheets and keep picking up results like that, then there's every chance they can stay in this league, isn't there, Kirsten? I
mean, I probably would use the excuse for Kelly that it's a plastic pitch, but so is Hamilton, so I can't really say that for them. But yeah, no, definitely. I still think Hamilton are going to go down, but it's like they've done it all this time. They've clinched results out of nowhere. Like obviously last season they got that result at Ibrox, and then obviously they're getting a result at home against Kelly and stuff. So if they keep doing that, they'll probably do a usual and stay up. But I was quite shocked at that, to be honest. I thought maybe Kelly could still cling on. Obviously, as you said, played Ross County or something a week or two before and still managed to win. So, but I don't know if it was just, I don't know what the kind of breakdown and just being
it was Big Chipper being a tactical genius. That's what it was. Or Dougie Imney, he's the coach, so obviously he must have been involved.
Dougie Imney just standing there like crack him.
It was maybe the perfect result for me, even though I got it wrong, because all that's done is wind Kelly up, and they need a result now. So we'll see what happens at the weekend.
Jack, big man, Jack, bro. Do you want to run us through the scores actually before we go into the next one with the points and stuff like that?
So go for it, son. The scores I've got wrote down, I don't know if they're different because for some reason we're changing them.
Just go to the Instagram. If you're new in here, follow us at Nay First Touch.
So Div predicted 2-0 Kelly. It went 1-0 Hamilton. He predicted 3-0 Livingston. It finished 2-0 Livingston. He predicted 1-0 Motherwell. It finished 3-0 Hibs. Predicted Aberdeen 1, St Mirren 1. It was Aberdeen 1, St Mirren 1.
Talk to me.
Predicted Ross County 0, Rangers 4. It was Ross County 0, Rangers 4.
Talk to me again.
And it was laughed at by the pair of us for predicting a draw in that game. And what happened? And the funny thing is, Celtic were lucky to get a draw.
Exactly. I said 2 each in that game, and it was 1 each. So I think I got about 18 points in that. I was flying, mate. Absolutely flying.
After last week's scores added in, you are sitting with a nice, healthy 10-point gap at the top.
Oh, it's not as good as 13, but I'll take it.
So you're on 132, I'm on 122, and now, Kirsten, you're on 96. I think we give you how many? Another 2 weeks of double points?
That's all you're getting, Kirsten,
yeah,
so you better,
that's fair.
You better get your act together.
2 weeks of double points before we cut that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to the next game then. We'll come to you for this one then, Jack, because you had Kirsten on the last. It was Livingston 2, Dundee United 0. David Martindale now with a 100% record as a Livingston manager. So there's a good chance he could get the job up there when everybody was talking about who was going to get the job. What was your thoughts in the game, mate? And do you think that Big Davy boy can take the job up there, take in charge of the bus?
I think Livingston's a perfect example of how getting rid of your manager and bringing a new one in can show to be quite positive. So I think there's no reason why no. He's doing everything right. He's beating a team that's Dundee United, who are not easy team to beat. Obviously, the Old Firm are different stories. Will probably you can't compare Dundee United when you watch the games, but I think Dundee United have been all right this season. They've not really been getting the results they want, but I think they've been quite solid in parts. But Livingston done really well. Their home form is pretty good every season, so pretty decent.
And then in the other game was St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 1. It's a game I predicted right as well. But it seems like St Mirren are really coming on to a game at the moment. They're Aberdeen's bogey team for sure. They're battering Aberdeen left, right and centre at the moment, but obviously Aberdeen will be happy now with a point, considering how the game went in the previous one. Lewis Ferguson came back into the fold after everything that happened with the 21s and the COVID situation, and he got a red card in the match as well, so that's unfortunate for him. He'll now miss the next couple of games, which is massive for Aberdeen, because I always think at a club like Aberdeen, there's like 4 or 5 top players in the team, if you start missing one or two, it can, like, the players that come in to replace them are so far off them, it's unreal. And that's just a finance thing, innit, with him at the moment. So, very positive result, though, for St Mirren. And they tremble on. In a week in which they were told that they needed to give 2 3-0s away. In fact, I don't even have that written down, but the SPFL, they said that they need to, because they broke the rules, really.
Aye.
There'll be 2 3-0s, and Motherwell end up getting 2 3-0 victories in their favour. They end up going into the top 6 in the table. St Mirren broke the rules. And who else was it broke the rules? Was it Kelly?
Kelly, yeah.
So that was a big story that's been quickly forgotten about, because that's just what Scottish football's all about, innit? One day you're in, one day you're out. The final game, Motherwell 0, Hibs 3, the game of the weekend for sure. Wow, by the way, I thought Motherwell were going to do a wee shock here. I always like to do a prediction where it's one that's just a wee bit out there, but Hibs just went there and they battered them, didn't they, Kirsten?
Absolutely. I'd say, to be honest, I kind of expected it, but see, watching like the highlights and stuff in the first half, I thought it was basically on Motherwell. Like it was. Tony Watt had a good few chances that he should have probably converted, to be fair. Then second half, I think it was Doidge off the bench scored again. Martin Boyle obviously opened the scoring, and then who was the third?
Stephen McGinn.
So there you go. All the McGinns have scored for St Mirren and for Hibs. So
yes, that's correct.
I think
that's the start of the day.
Congratulations.
There you go, guys.
Congratulations to the McGinn family for that.
There you go, guys. Well done. But no, to be honest, the second half I just seen kind of Motherwell fall away. But I'd have expected more, to be honest, considering they were at home. But obviously the form that Hibs are in this season, you know, I didn't really see them falling by that much. So yeah.
Right, Jacko, I know you were stuck on the bus, so you might not have them at hand, but do you have the...
I don't have them at hand. Are you having a laugh?
I love you, man. I actually do. I love you.
So, are you ready?
On you go.
So, first game, we have Aberdeen v Ross County. I have gone for a 3-1 win for the Dons. What are you saying?
Yeah, no, that. I'm going to go for a 1-1 win. Kidding on.
1-1 win? What?
No, give me a wee second to think about this, right? Because I'm fluttering right now. I should have wrote my bloody things down. I wasn't prepared yet. Terrible for me. Terrible.
That's shocking.
I'm going to go 1-0. 1-0 to Aberdeen.
I'm going to go 2-1 Aberdeen.
I don't think Ross County will score, Couldn't they score in a brothel? But anyway.
Oh. Couldn't get his own a barrel of fannies.
I was going to say that, Jack. I probably don't say that. Anyways.
Next game, Motherwell v St Mirren. Motherwell coming off the back of that defeat. I think they'll take St Mirren and they'll beat them. I think they'll win 2-0.
I think it'll be 1-0, mate. Motherwell not playing great at the moment. St Mirren doing really well. So I've got 1-0. I'll
go 1-0 Motherwell. I think they'll come back from the defeat, but I think it'll be kind of a lucky goal sort of thing. Yeah.
I'm actually quite surprised none of us have went with a St Mirren win there, but they might shock us.
Next game is St Johnstone v Livingston. St Johnstone at home, coming off the back of that draw with Celtic, and Livingston coming off the back of that win, so they're both going to be looking for it. I went for a 2-1 to Livy.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to St Johnstone. I think this might be the game where Big Davy Martindale suffers his first defeat. St Johnstone are doing really well at the moment. Undefeated in 11 games. So I'll go with them.
I'll go 1-1. I think they'll both be raring for it, obviously, after the last couple of games they've had. So I'll go for a 1-1. It'll be quite even.
Absolute blockbuster coming up next. We've got Hamilton v Hibs at Hamilton. Raging, there's no tickets to that, man.
Do you know what?
Human.
What you going? I'll let you go first.
I've been talking Hamilton up a wee bit there, haven't I, with them saying they beating Kelly 1-0, and it's got me thinking. Could they like cause an upset in this game? No, they can't. It's got to be 3-0 Hibs. Hibs are going to mop the floor with him, surely. Big Nisbet better get his act together again, start getting me points in that fantasy board, because he's been lacking recently. 2 points and all that. Pathetic for him, considering how good he is. So hopefully he gets his a hat-trick and gets me up the leaderboards again.
Fair play. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 Hibs.
I think this will be an easier 3-0 than what Motherwell have got.
Totally agree with that, mate.
Getting into the Old Firm games, I've got Dundee United at home against Rangers. I've went 3-0 Rangers.
There you go, Kirsten. You've got Dundee United and
Um,
the Rangers top one, so on you go.
no. I'll go
If you were
2-0.
To Rangers, obviously. See if you were to describe
2-0.
your jumper, and you were to say if it was to belong to any team, who would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Can be international, can be club. What does it look like?
I thought you were going to say, can you describe the colour? I was going to say African sunset, but I'll for colour. It's actually international. It's the Holland.
I'll take that.
Good.
So I will. Jack, I agree with you, mate. I think Rangers will win by 3 goals or more, and I'm going to add one on just for the sake of it and go 4-0.
Just cause.
I mean, Dundee United are missing a lot of players. I thought they were going to miss more. When I looked at the starting 11 at the weekend there, when I'm saying that they were missing 7 first-team players, and they still had a really strong team out, but still wasn't enough. Like the Big Shankland. Wow, your cloak just done some witchcraft, Kirsten. Your cloak just done like a 360.
Did it?
I swear to God. Oh my God. Here, I'm going to replay that in the edit.
He's tripping.
I swear to fuck, I just done a 360.
He's absolutely tripping, man.
Oh my God.
Mate, the clock's broke. That's why he's sitting doing that.
That's unreal. Your cloak is fully, man. Right.
Apologies.
What was I saying now?
I don't know. Something about missing players.
I was expecting like them to miss more. Then I look at the starting 11, they've got Shankland and all that playing, they still couldn't score. Don't know what's happening with him at the moment, man, but they need Nicky Boy Clark back pronto. I think we'll batter them, Jack, 4-0.
Last game is it's honestly, in my opinion, the toughest game to call this week, just because of how the games have been going. It's Celtic v Kilmarnock. Celtic at home. I've backed Celtic every week thinking they'll win. This is the week it changes. I think it will be 2-1 to Kilmarnock.
Oh my God, that'd be mental, mate. I've been batting against Celtic for ages now because I just feel like 2 wins in 12 games. How can you back a team that's in that type of form? You know, at Celtic Park. But I also thought in the last game that they could have, if they got an early goal, maybe they could went on and win it. But they didn't. So in this game, I think it's get progressively harder. I think Ross County to St Johnstone to Kelly is progressively harder. And for that reason, I'm going to go for 1-0 to Kilmarnock.
I'm going to go 1 each. I genuinely like...
Oh my God.
See if...
Not one of us predicting a Celtic win here.
See if Celtic won at the weekend. I'd have probably... Here's hoping, by the way, but if Celtic won at the weekend, I'd have probably went for a win, but 2 wins in 12, I can't back that. I mean, they're just not doing well enough, so I don't know. And to be fair, when we played them at the start of the league, like the second game or something, it was 1 each, and that was away. But here's hoping we get a win. But you know,
Kelly are the masters of anti-football.
I just had a wee delicious text that my dinner's on the way. It's going to be about 5 minutes. Here we go.
What are you getting?
A wee pizza, mate. Nice pizza.
Oh, I might get that.
You're going to turn into a pizza, man. Jesus, you know how many pizza
mate,
you eat?
I came out of the shower this morning for work. My roommate Lewis looked at me and was like, "Do you know what, mate? I fucking hate you." I was like, "See all the shit you eat."
Can't put weight on. So, I wish I was in that boat, Jack. You know, I wish. Right, we're talking to... I need to work my fucking whole life just not to put on a stone a week. I'm telling you, man. I need to train 7 days a week just not to put a stone on. But anyway, we'll talk about Celtic there. I thought we could quickly touch on the Europa League. Celtic play Lille. You're expecting Celtic to probably get beaten this game as well, which would mean if they didn't win the following, it would be 2 wins in 14. But they play Lille, strong team. For me, Celtic need to change their team. It's done. Europe's done. So just get into it. Change your team. Give some players an opportunity. But I think Lille will pick up a wee victory in that as well. So
I see if Celtic put a full-time team on that, it just proves how stupid Neil Lennon is. Do you know a question I want to ask you quickly before we finish about Scott Brown? I'm hearing a lot of people say Scott Brown's finished and he's past it.
He's not finished. He's only 28.
He's know that I think that he's on kind of par with Stephen Davis, and Stephen Davis is playing some of the best football he's played in a Rangers shirt, in my opinion. So how can you honestly say that? I want to know Kirsty's opinion, obviously, because she's a Celtic fan, but there's no way you can say that he's just went through that because his age.
I think it's been if you look at the type of player Scott Brown is, he's not got the technical ability, Stephen Davis. So for me, he needs to be managed better. He needs to play less minutes, and he needs to be playing in a system that complements him. I still think he could play well in a certain role within a Celtic team if they're organised, if they know what they're doing on a football pitch. But he's just not got the technical ability to impact games the same way that Stephen Davis has got. And I think that's where the class prevails in Stephen Davis. He was doing the Premier League, captain of Southampton, Northern Ireland captain, most cap player in history, Euros, etc., etc. Wee Davis done it at Rangers as well, player of the year, you know what I mean? So for me, Stephen Davis has always been a better player than Scott Brown. But because of that technical ability and the gap between that, and now that Celtic aren't playing too well, that's where you're seeing that major difference for me, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. See, just because we don't really have nobody really knows what's going on, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But see, if we went back to a 4-2-3-1 and we were playing the way we played last season, nobody would be saying anything about him. Like, nobody would be batting an eyelid at him. It's because we are playing so bad, nobody really knows what they're doing, and everything's just falling apart. Even, like, look at Christie last season, now look at him, man, he's hitting people at the side of the stadium by the bloody balls. He's trying to shoot and try and hit and target.
What was I going to say about Scott Brown there? Let's not beat around the bush either, though. He's definitely not the worst performer. If for the Celtic games I've seen, he's still putting in merrier shift than 90% of the players on that part, to be honest with you. But it's just that every player in the Celtic team at the moment looks absolutely gash. Rangers play Poznan away. I've seen the day, Jack, that Poznan are going to be playing a weakened team because Europe's finished for them. So they're going to put out a shadow team. Apparently they did that versus Benfica as well. Benfica beat them 4-0. If Rangers win the game, they top the group. So it's a great opportunity for us to go over there and do that, mate, isn't it?
100%. The only thing I'll say about the Rangers team, I would not be annoyed if we put out a second team. I would not be annoyed in the slightest. Finishing top of this group, as much as it's a nice thing and the money benefits and everything, and we say easier draw in the next round, you could get anybody. I wouldn't be annoyed. See, the league and the domestic stuff is way more important in my opinion. We're not going to win the Europa League. It's just a fact. We went to the final in 2008 on an amazing run, and we absolutely got battered in the final. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We're playing good, but if we put maybe not a B team, but if we put it played Bassey at left back, mix up the midfield.
A League Cup, Scottish Cup team kind of thing.
Aye.
A wee bit of a hybrid.
Just tweak it a wee bit.
It wouldn't bother me, because see if we were there and we don't win and we don't finish top of that group. See if we win the league, I will not give a rat's ass.
Definitely, mate. No, you make a good point there. I mean, we play Poznan away on Thursday, right? And then on the following Tuesday, we've got on the following Sunday we've got Dundee United away. So you're getting back probably Thursday night into Friday. You go in Friday for a recovery session. Before you know it, on the Sunday you're playing again. Then the Monday you've got another recovery session, and we're playing St Mirren on the Tuesday. So that's a quick turnaround, followed by Motherwell at home at that weekend. So there's definitely going to be a lot of rotations between the games for sure. But it'd still be good to go over there and win. It'd still be good to go into the group. But as you said, you just never know who you're going to get.
I think we can win.
I think we can as well. So I do. But
I would see, honest, see as much as like gone far in Europe is like it's not a bad thing. I would love a nice big a big glamorous tie.
Fuck the glamour ties.
I'd love it, mate. I'd love it.
For what reason though? To watch it on the TV.
Good point.
See, if we were going to the game, I would love it, mate. But see, because we're not going to be there, I want the weakest team possible. Honestly.
The only thing about Europe.
How heartbreaking though, to be serious, right? How heartbreaking would it be if you get Real Madrid or something like that though, and you need to watch it on the TV, and you can't go to the Bernabeu?
I do get that point, but see the only thing about Europe this like new secret Celtic route. Every European game we play is just another game that they'll know. Every League Cup game we play is another game they'll know. So I'm not even that fussed. It's, as much as I think, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if we went to the last 16 again, won the League Cup, maybe a challenge for the Scottish Cup. It wouldn't surprise me because we're playing, we can do that, and we've got the stamina, we've got the rotation, we've got the squad depth to do that. But the wee para person in me is just like, right, just fucking get it.
Aye, fair enough. Right, okay, that's every single topic that we could have got covered. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything at all? I've got one wee thing that why I ask you, but if you have got anything, fire away.
I was just gonna say, what's your favourite holiday? Like, if you could go away then now.
Oh my god. Anywhere, I'm not going to lie, Kirsten. I'd take being able to go to fucking Edinburgh, man. You can't even go to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh?
Without breaking the rules.
A nice wee lads trip to Ibiza or something like that with the class.
Lads trip to Ibiza. I'm going to pass on that, although it sounds great. Just
Tenerife,
not. Oh man, was that the last place up? No, it was Bali. But the last time I
went
to Tenerife, it was unreal.
It was Bali.
Was it Tenerife?
No, just Bali.
Shut up, bitch. But I'm talking to Jack, by the way, with that. But in case.
You better be.
I am. Fuck's sake, you smashed my cunt in. But the last place I went to was Bali, which is devastating. Went there in November.
Was it good?
I was just working, so it was great. But I was there for work, and I was only there 5 days, and I had we had like fucking 16-year days and stuff, and I was literally like, what'd you call it? Jet lagged the full time. So we'd be like, got to a location and then sleeping in the car on the way back to the next location. So it was an absolute nightmare, to be honest, but it was still good. It was still class. But where would I go? I go back to Tenerife because that was the most recent one, and it was just an absolute party, and it was unreal. So I'll go there. I'll pick that.
You could be the bearer of bad news, but my pizza has arrived, so Jackie boy is out of here.
Go and get the pizza, right? Go and get the pizza.
I'm not no.
Go and get the pizza. And pizza review, son.
He's away to get it now, so I need to go
right.
and get my pizza.
You can't fucking hang me on this. I've got one more question for you.
Right, hurry up.
Gotta take my time.
I can leave.
You can only say one name, right? But who's your dream guest to have on that football podcast? I'll go first.
So this one.
Mine's is Ali McCoist because it needs to be somebody for the Scottish game, by the way. Mine's is Ali McCoist. What a guy. I think he'd be an absolutely amazing interview.
See, to be honest, if you didn't say that, I'd have had a wee think and not known who to pick. But see, I think I watch his Si Ferry's interview on repeat. It's that good. It's that good. So I'd probably have to agree with you. I would love that.
I'd be shite myself doing it, but to be honest, we
need to save up the pennies. We'll see how much it costs. I don't know.
Oh, I know. $5,000 probably. Kirsten?
I'd say Henrik Larsson because he was my idol growing up, and I don't know. I've seen him once, and I was like a lot younger, and I just burst into tears. So yeah, I'd probably say Henrik Larsson because he's the king of kings, and he's class.
See, to be honest, man, I would love to see you in tears at the end of the season again. Be brilliant.
I thought.
Right,
happy tears, hopefully.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Very First Touch podcast. Thanks as ever to Jack and Kirsten for being on as well. She's the next one. We're out.